things.
Alright guys, main character is now closed.
Or she can.
Those seatbelts are fastened. Make sure the seat back, tray table's upright in lock position. Laptops are off. We need all those small devices.
Hello, friends. We're finally here. We're at the moment where fate of 2022 will be decided. Which company, Genesis or BankSea, will be declared the champion of Jake's next excellent adventure.
So basically, Genesis is genetic testing for athletes, sport athletes, to optimize their performance and training. So if you could find out your body's response to cardio or weightlifting or muscular endurance or ATP factors, all of that, Genesis would be a solution to that problem. Whereas genetic testing, today as it stands, doesn't fit that need. So one of the big bets with Genesis is there's not a whole lot of money to be made in DNA testing. So what you have to do is really make partnerships like through Gatorade or Nike, those organizations, for medical research. Now that's been a problem with the DNA market because 23andMe, if you've heard those stories, the horror stories, they'll just use that information however they want about your genetics and all kinds of research. So it would be opt-in medical research, which would enable lifetime value to an athlete where you could take a test today, but 2 years from now you could continually learn updated results based on how we get, the labs get at testing, or how much better we get at testing. So the business model would be around annualized revenue from kit purchases, but the big one is lifetime revenue from that medical research. And of course, the vision for Genesis is a new generation of athletes understanding unique intelligence of how their bodies would respond to certain types of training. Imagine a 12, 13-year-old who otherwise would have been ignored within the system to discover that they actually have within them genetic potential to do some pretty extraordinary things in athletics. And consequentially, just your everyday athletes, those that are just trying to get in better shape or lose weight or understand their pre-existing conditions. Genesis would pull that information. And that's really the vision behind it. So it kind of goes behind Nike's mantra of if you have a body, you're an athlete. Well, that's where we kind of want to head. And Genesis is how do we enable that athleticism as it stands. It's pretty cool. That's Genesis. For those familiar with the NFT world, BankSea makes a straightforward bet against a problem. And that is, can we bridge these digital collectibles with physical artwork so that you purchase a painting from even a local artist you enjoy, let's say $100, $200, and you also get a digital receipt of that painting, which then becomes its NFT. So you get to purchase art in both the physical and digital worlds. Here's where BankSea is really explosive, and this should be the turning point if you're kind of leaning heavily towards Genesis or aren't necessarily like teetering the line of like, man, I don't know which one to vote. The physical art world, so generally the art world, is a $1.7 trillion asset class. That's massive. NFTs, they're just $7 billion. That's tiny, 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 tiny about pebble. So all of that virality that you've heard around NFTs doesn't even pale in comparison to how massive the art world is, specifically contemporary art. BankSea's business models around transactions, really, percent commission. And the really interesting part about this is obviously you do commission-based processes like returns. Well, within an NFT world, you can't actually return an NFT right now. You'd be able to do that on BankSea. So if you returned that physical artwork, that original NFT could also go back to that founding purchaser or founding lister of the NFT. That in and of itself, you can see the trajectory based off of a $1.7 trillion asset class. It would not take much for BankSea to become a dominant player in that market. A lot of potential there. And of course, the vision behind it is a new generation of art enthusiasts. Just even this last year, 25% of art purchasers were under the age of 40, which is up from 15% the year before at these auction houses like Sotheby's and Christie's. That's a big deal, and that's BankSea's hope.
the next day.
Here we go. Let me check and make sure. Getting us set up. All right, Genesis versus BankSea. And the winner is... What? BankSea.
How do you feel?
I'm speechless. Good thing I have a flight to process this, but like, I'm speechless, guys. This is something. I did not expect it to be so dominant.
Alright guys, if we can have
More
your
to come,
attention for a moment, we're
but
going to point out the safety features of our 700
just as I
series
said,
aircraft. There's a
it's time
safety
to go.
information card in your seat
Thanks,
back
guys.
pocket. Feel free to pull that out and follow along with us.